Kali's getting a buff. We now know what Tubarao and Aruni's DMR nerf is, SMG12 nerf, and more. We just had our 4th community checkpoint for Rainbow Six Siege. Now, they talked a lot about anti-cheat here. A lot. They announced that they've got a new in-house anti-cheat team called Ubisoft Anti-Cheat, which is working in tandem with BattlEye. They said that the current season has the lowest amount of cheating reports to date, except from in high ranks, and they are saying that there is work to be done in high ranks. But they talk so much about macros and how they're doing that, and DMA, and so much stuff about the anti-cheat. And I'm going to recommend that you just watch the checkpoint for that, because you have the anti-cheat team there. They explain everything way better than I do. I want to talk about the balancing in this video, but I just want to make sure that you guys are aware they talk a lot about anti-cheat. So if you want to learn more about that for both console and PC, watch the full community checkpoint. But yes, let's talk about the balancing. So as of year 10 season 4.2, that's when the new seasonal cadence came into play. That's when we saw that big change to Thorn and all that, and it's been pretty consistent since then. They said that they are looking at old nerfed operators to bring them back into the meta. It's not fair that operators who were strong in a meta 5 years ago are still suffering the consequence of this, hence why Zofia and Wamai both recently got substantial buffs, because yes, they were strong before, but that was an old meta. It's not really fair that they haven't been brought back for the current day and age of the game. And Ubisoft said that they like the new balancing they're doing, and the community clearly likes it as well. However, they did make a note of the fact that the 0.1 and 0.3 updates, which are the smaller refinement updates, aren't as substantial as maybe some people want them to be. So they are looking at improving them going forward. If you're not aware, when the season launches, which is the 0.0 update, and then mid-season, which is the 0.2 update, that is when we get our major balancing updates. Between them, we have 0.1 and 0.3. Those are usually smaller. They're going to look at making them a little bit better, which is great to hear, and they're already improving a pretty great cadence, which is already going on. But they did admit that we are currently in the power operator meta, where we have operators who have strong utility, strong gadgets, strong weapons, and high pick grades. And I think there's something really nice from this. What we've learned is that they are starting to find that middle ground. They have admit that there are some operators here who are just factually too strong, and they will be receiving nerfs, but they don't want to nerf them into the ground like happened before. And as well as this, there are operators that need to be brought higher, but again, they don't want to make them too high. They said if you make every operator extremely strong, you end up in a bit of an arcade shooter, and that's just not what Siege is. And there are some operators in the current meta which do fit that power operator meta. It does seem like Solid Snake is one of them. There may be a Solid Snake nerf coming. We'll talk about that in a little bit of a second. But yes, they don't want to nerf these operators into the ground, and they also want to bring other ones up as well, but they're trying to get that nice middle ground, but they do admit some are a bit too strong, and of course, some are a bit too weak. So one of these operators that are deemed very strong is Dokkaebi, and we know that she is going to be getting a bit of a change in the Season 3 launch. So, to begin with, they are replacing her EMP nades with breaching charges. This just gives her a different piece of utility. You know, EMPs aren't really necessary on her kit anyway, so yeah, they're replacing it with breaching charges. As well as this, she is getting the mute and Tubarao counter, which we already did know, but they went into more detail about how this counter works and other aspects of it. So basically, starting with Season 3, Dokkaebi's hack is a constant upload. So what this means is the connection from her tablet to the defender's phone isn't just a one-time connection and then the hack starts. It is a constant connection through the entire hack itself, meaning that signal disruptors such as Mute and Tubarao can stop the hack in its process. But here's the best part about this: now if Dokkaebi dies while she has hacked the defender and she dies before that hack finishes, it'll stop, because you've jammed that connection. Dokkaebi isn't alive anymore for that connection to finish. So she can call you, your phone starts ringing, but if you kill her, your phone will stop because, well, you've stopped the connection. It hasn't hit 100%, which is actually quite a substantial change to Dokkaebi. Now, what this means as well, since it's a constant connection, that Dokkaebi's tablet will remain on Solas's scanner the entire time she is hacking someone, completely revealing her entire location consistently whilst a hack is initiated. As well as this works in reverse. Because the defender's phone now has a live connection to Dokkaebi's tablet the whole time, that means IQ can see a defender's phone the entire duration they are being hacked. So very simply, they fundamentally changed how her Jago payload works, and this is definitely for the better. it introduces more counters, and honestly, just makes way more sense. You have to be alive for the phone call to finish, and if there's an operator that jams a connection like Mute or Tubarao, they can stop that before it reaches 100%. Now, another thing they said is that Kali is going to be getting buffed in Year 11 Season 3. It's kind of the extent they said. They wanted to save us for the reveal, which is coming very soon on just the 15th of August. If I'm not wrong, that's only a week away, or just over a week away. Yeah, next Saturday. So a week tomorrow is when we're getting the Season 3 reveal, which is quite crazy. They did announce that Kali will be getting a buff, but we're going to have to tune into that. You know, it was a bit of a teaser here, but we are getting a Kali buff, which is great to hear. Next, we know that there are 3 weapons officially getting nerfed: the SMG-12, the AR-15 for Tubarao, and the Mark 14 EBR for Aruni. Now, many of you who like a lot of these weapons may actually be quite happy with the nerfs which are coming. So, the SMG-12, they are reducing the damage and they are reducing the ammo capacity. That's it. You still have that high fire rate. If you hit headshots, it's still going to be a valuable weapon. However, they're kind of making it where you do have to hit the headshot if you want to win, and you've got to do it in the smaller amount of ammo than they did before. They've not told us what that ammo capacity is. They've not told us what the damage is. We just know that they are lowering it to make it that if you want to use this weapon, you have to hit the head. As well as this, when it comes to the DMRs, you may be happy to hear they are keeping their ACOGs. ACOG is remaining on the DMRs on defense, and they actually talk about ACOG in a bit as well. But yeah, Aruni and Tubarao are keeping their DMRs. What they're doing to the DMRs on defense is that they will be increasing their recoil. They will also be removing muzzle brake, which will also make the recoil even worse. And as well as this, they will be reducing their damages to make them below 60. So what this basically means is that there'll always be a 3-shot to the body. So you know, taking down the damage to mean more shots required to kill, plus higher recoil. I've not played it. It was alluded that this does have a big effect on these weapons, and for some players, it will push them to the other options. It will push you to the Roni on Aruni. It will push you to the MPX on Tubarao, but we're just going to have to wait and see. But yes, they are keeping their ACOGs. We'll see how this goes, but it's a good step in the right direction, in my opinion. They also made note of the Season 3 operator. They revealed that this operator is a direct counter to shields. However, their gadget will have more of a gimmick than just countering shields. It will be able to do more than just that. Again, next Saturday, full reveal of this season. And someone in the chat asked, is a power operator that was previously mentioned, like Snake or Deimos, going to receive a nerf because they were targeting power operators? And again, they're a bit vague on the reply, but they said one of these 2 operators are getting nerfed, either Snake or Deimos. I think it's very clearly Snake. Deimos is a very strong power operator, but he is way more balanced than Snake is. Snake is 100% getting a nerf. Whatever it's going to be, we don't know yet, but yeah, 100%. I want to talk about the ACOGs because, again, this was asked, and pretty much what they said is they like to keep the option for long-range fights on defense. Depending on what weapon has those ACOGs, yes, is a big balancing debate. Hence why they are, you know, making DMRs a bit more difficult to use to compensate for this fact. But it seems like they do like the idea of keeping ACOGs on defense to an extent. But if your weapon's going to have, you know, ACOG, there's going to be a drawback to it. So I can kind of live with that. I just need to see these drawbacks more. Like the TCSG, I don't think has major drawbacks. I think that weapon needs more recoil as well. I think the defensive DMRs need more recoil. You know what I mean? Like, I think there needs to be more drawbacks for these weapons. But for you people who like ACOGs on defense, they will exist to a certain extent. What they did say is, well, that they don't want to fully nerf ops, like I mentioned at the start, but there will be a bit more nerfs going forward than there have been recently, but that's on top of all the buffs that the game has been getting. And someone in the chat also asked if the P10 Roni will get its bullets back, and they said, well, maybe, because again, that was from an old meta, so that could be something that comes back. And since Aruni is getting that nerf of the DMR and the P10 Roni is going to become more desirable, maybe it's the perfect time to do that, but they didn't confirm or deny anything there. I also asked a question, which many people have been asking in my channel, is will Tachanka get his shotgun back? And they said, we won't rule it out. So yeah, there you go. Many of you guys were asking that one. It was a bit of an, you know, not a definitive answer, but they said there's a space in his loadout for it. Like, yeah, maybe. So yeah, a lot of this checkpoint was about you know, legend division, core rules, anti-cheat, and I just want to, rather than me giving a half-ass explanation, just go watch the VOD on the official Rainbow Six channel. I'll have it linked at the end of this video or the title card right now. It's very valuable that you have the anti-cheat team here, and I think it's very valuable you hear it from them, because trust me, they know what they're talking about. If you've been asking these questions, at least listen to their answers, because they do actually say a lot here and it's worth listening to. So yeah, I just want to get those balancing changes across to you. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Drop a like on this video if you did enjoy. Subscribe if you're new. And yeah, I'll catch you all in the next one. I love you all, and stay tuned for my coverage of Year 11 Season 3. How exciting. Love you all.